Good morning and welcome to the registration webinar for the Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, also known as RAMP. My name is Liz Diaz, and on behalf of the Office of Procurement, we are pleased that you could join us today for this informative presentation. Please go back to thank you. Today's webinar will include an overview of the RAMP registration process, including how to navigate the site. RAMP offers a vast number of contracting opportunities with the City of Los Angeles, as well as with other regional partners who also use this platform to post opportunities. Please note that this presentation is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of the recording, the slide deck, and the chat history. If you have questions or comments during the presentation, feel free to drop them via the chat function, where we have staff available to answer your questions there in real time. However, if time permits, at the end of our presentation, we may take a few questions from the chat function and answer them verbally before the session ends at noon. We do have a short survey that we ask you to respond to for our own information. We would like to know how many of you have ever attended one of our RAMP webinar presentations in the past. Jackie? Okay, so it looks like we do have folks who have participated in the past. That's great. And hopefully this second or subsequent webinar will help you further in your registration and participation on the RAMP webinar platform. Please know that we hold these information presentations. I want to end that. Thank you. Please know that we hold these information presentations on a monthly basis, and we'd like to know how many folks have joined us this month. Jackie, please let us know how many we have attending today.
We have 47, Liz.
All right, we can take down the poll now. And next slide. All right. Shannon Hoppus serves as our Chief Procurement Officer for the City of Los Angeles. Shannon has been the chief proponent of this new platform and has been instrumental in securing the participation of our new regional partners added to this platform of opportunities. Welcome, Shannon.
Thanks, Liz, and welcome everyone this morning. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We see that we have some newcomers and some that have been with us before. Welcome back, and to those that are new, a welcome as well. But to the ones that have been here before, we would also be interested in hearing if there's any additional information that you might be needing since you have returned to this space. So be sure to communicate with our team. You'll have the email addresses at the end of the presentation to reach out. So if there's additional information that might be helpful, we'd be happy to provide it. So with that, we can get started into what is RAMP and why you should be on it. Next slide. Again, it is our solicitation platform. It is our regional alliance marketplace for procurement. It's actually hosted by the City of LA, and it's designed to place solicitations, not just the city's $4.5 billion worth of solicitations or contracting opportunities, but it's designed to also, as Liz mentioned, bring together some of our regional partners' opportunities to this platform as well. But this is how you get informed on what the city wants to buy. This is your first step in getting a glimpse into whether your business, whether or not your business can supply the things that the city wants to purchase. Right now, the city houses approximately $10 billion worth of procurement opportunity. Again, that is due to both the collaboration with the city as well as our partners who are accessing this database. We are continuing to add new businesses to this space that are looking for your business. So again, this is really a place you want to be if you want to start connecting with prime contractors or looking to get a government contract. Next slide. This was really built with the intention of bringing both public and private procurement opportunities to one space. This was about centralizing as much opportunity so that businesses wouldn't have to search multiple platforms. We all have different platforms, but the city did try to make it a little easier for businesses to access, again, multiple opportunities in one space. We know you all have limited time, as well as the fact that our partners in this space are really looking for a diverse vendor pool. So we have spent a lot of years building that vendor pool. Right now, we have approximately 60,000 businesses registered on RAMP. We want to make sure yours is here as well, so that not only the city can find you, but again, our partners can access you as well. This was also a place where you can see or get information about the prime contractors. We know it's important for you to start building those relationships with those prime contractors. Many of you will work as subcontractors with those prime contractors. So this is also a space where you can see who's been bidding on our opportunities. You can see who's interested. You can get insight into past bids. You can attend our pre-bidders conferences. There's a lot of tools here, even if you might not be ready to bid on a government contract. This is really a huge resource to start scaling your business in anticipation for going out to bid on a contract. Next slide. These are some of our partners who are looking for your business. You can see that LA28, the Olympics, they are already looking for businesses to participate in the 2028 Olympics. They'll be gathering and building their teams over the coming years. So again, this is, if you're interested in participating in that big event, then this is also why you would want to be on RAMP. But again, in addition to the city's opportunities, we also do have some private sector participants here. You can see City of Hope uses our platform, Cedars-Sinai, some of our other governmental agencies. So again, there's a lot of other opportunity here beyond the city of LA. Next slide. So in addition to all of the things that I mentioned about RAMP, this is also a place where you get to build a profile. So similar to LinkedIn, this is where you would start to build the profile about your business, brag about your business, maybe post a little video about your business, include your logos, certifications that you might hold, and any other information that makes you exceptional. Any information that you would want to share with other prime contractors or with our business partners as well. This is where you can also get information about certification. So if you are not currently certified, the city does offer some certifications for free. And if we don't offer those certifications, we can certainly help point you in the right direction. This is also, in addition, where you would want to, as you build out that business profile, include NAICS codes or your industry codes that identify the type of business you represent. This is how we match you with the opportunities that are on RAMP. You would then be notified of those opportunities and then determine whether or not it's a fitting opportunity for you to continue to bid on. But again, the participants that are on here, in addition to the city of LA, they are looking to your information as well. You would be pointed back directly to their websites to complete their solicitation process or their bidding process. But this is, again, a place that you can get information well beyond just the city. This is also a place that our regional partners are posting their events. So if you're interested in doing business with them, many of them hold outreach events, capacity building events. This is technical assistance. This is where you would want to get information, again, even if you're not ready to enter into that contract just yet. Next slide. Again, why we want you to be here is that this is a marketplace. This is a place that makes you visible to our buyers, to our regional partners buyers, as well as to other prime contractors. And then as we said, you'll be identified as to the type of business you are. You will then receive solicitations based on that profile that you built. Again, it's about tremendous opportunity. We are doing our best in this space to make sure that you are all informed of what's coming to LA. We know that we have the Olympics, we have World Cup coming, but besides all those things, we are LA. We always have opportunity, and this is a great place to be, to get informed of those opportunities and really to get tools that will help build your business in anticipation of any opportunity that you might seek. Next slide. And now I'm going to hand it over to the team to take you through the website.
Thanks, Shannon, for that great overview of the benefits of RAMP. Now for an overview of the registration process. The first step is to click on the Login Register green colored button at the top right-hand corner to begin the registration process. Next slide. The registration process can be done rather quickly, taking about 15 minutes to complete. Next slide. Please enter your email. Make sure that your password includes upper, lower, number, and special characters. And for your phone number, it's recommended that you list your cell phone number. Lastly, be sure to check I'm not a robot. Next slide. The system will indicate that a verification email has been sent to you. So proceed to check your email for verification from Angelino. Next slide. You should receive a Welcome to Angelino email. Angelino is the city's single sign-on system, which allows users to log into several city websites with a single login credential. An Angelino account is required in order to register and log into RAMP. Activate your account by clicking on the green link within the email. Next slide. Fill out the noted fields. For sole proprietorships, your name is the quote company name, not the DBA. Don't put DBA as your company name. Sole proprietorships will show their tax ID number at the bottom. Next slide. Your title must be typed in. For sole proprietorships, enter the owner's name. Next slide. Complete all of these sections and only register as a DBA if your DBA is registered within the county where your business is located, and it only applies to sole proprietors. You can add a logo if you have one. And in the summary section, this is your opportunity to brag a bit about your company. This space allows a maximum of 200 characters, not including spaces, so please be concise. And for the business address section, don't use a PO box. Use a physical address. Otherwise, the system will reject your entry. Next slide. Please note that your phone number requires dashes. Please also enter your email address. And if you have a business tax registration certificate or BTRC, please enter that number. Otherwise, contact the city's Office of Finance to apply for one. Your BTRC only applies to business within the City of Los Angeles, or if you're interested in doing business with the City of Los Angeles. Next slide. While it does not contain an asterisk indicating a required field to be filled out, please indicate whether your company is a for-profit or nonprofit business. And the most important step is register as, where it is encouraged that you select the prime sub option. By selecting this option versus selecting only prime or only sub, you increase the number of notifications you may receive regarding all of the opportunities related to your business type. Next slide. The North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS codes, can be found on your taxes on the header under Box B, or you can find the codes at the U.S. Census website at the address noted on the slide. These codes are related to your business industry and are 6 digits long. By completing this section, you will be notified of contracting opportunities that relate to your business industry. Next slide. At this stage, you may complete the demographics that relate to you as the business owner. The other identifying info drop-down space is for identifying male, female, or other. Number of employees is optional if under 20. And for annual revenue, any company under $1 million is optional. And for work history section, again, this is an opportunity for you to tout your work experience. You may wish to use any information from a LinkedIn account if you have one. Next slide. This slide lists the various certifications you may apply for. You may skip the certification step if it doesn't apply to you. Otherwise, if certifications were completed by any of the other entities as noted on the left side of the slide, know that they are recognized by the City of Los Angeles as well. If you skip this section initially, know that you may return to it later if and when you have certifications to list. Next slide. Next slide. You are now at the end of your registration, where you can review your profile listing, your business information. Please review this information carefully. Next slide. After reviewing the information, scroll all the way to the bottom and click on the green Submit button. Next slide. You are officially registered in RAMP when you see the "Thank you for registering" message. Next slide. For additional resources, please click on Support at the top right-hand corner next to the Login Register button in order to access some frequently asked questions regarding registration, your RAMP profile, certifications, and other helpful information. You may also wish to refer to the set of frequently asked questions that were included in the initial email regarding your RAMP webinar registration. Next slide. You can also access manuals for submitting your company compliance documents, for understanding the Business Inclusion Program BIP outreach process, as well as how to add NAICS codes and licenses to your profile. Next slide. That completes our presentation for today. We hope this information has been helpful in getting you registered on RAMP. And I see that we have a lot of time left. So I'm going to take some questions at this time from the chat and see if we have any here. I know our RAMP support folks have asked. I don't see. Okay. It looks like we don't have a whole lot of questions today.
I think someone asked if you can do certifications on RAMP. You'll be linked to the group that does the certifications. So that is a link within RAMP, depending on the type of certification you want to complete. We don't do all of them. We do the ones that the city holds, obviously, but we would point you to the resources that that would do the certifications beyond the city of LA. But I think if we don't have a ton of questions, and the NAICS codes, they're actually industry codes. They can be found, and we can post the link to the census website. You will find them there. You will also find them on your tax documents. They identify the type of business that you represent. So that is how you're going to identify yourself, so you get matched with the opportunity that fits your business. But we have had a certification webinar before. We can point you to that previous webinar for more information. And I think we'll be doing those webinars in the future. But I think I want to ask anyone that might be brave enough that has attended these webinars before, if you're here because maybe it wasn't clear, maybe you could share with us some of the things that might be challenging to you in this space, or maybe questions that came up during your registration. I'm just putting it out there, but we'll make sure we get to the questions I think that have since been asked. But feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or if you want to raise your hand or put it in the chat, you can definitely do that as well. I find that last one is never really clearly listed. That's interesting, because we do have a lot of landscape opportunities. So it may be that you might need to include additional NAICS codes that might touch on other things, maybe just general landscaping. You are able to include up to 10 NAICS codes in your profile. We don't want to overload you with opportunity, but you at the same time want to broaden your availability or search. So you do get visibility into those opportunities that would fit your business. I'll let you read off any other questions I'm not noticing, Liz. Or again, feel free to unmute yourself. We have time.
They said, is there a contact we can use for questions once we start the registration? Yes, we actually have our website. It's listed right there, www.rampla.org. You can register, but also you can catch us at rampsupport@lacity.org for any questions that you may have if you're having difficulty with your ramp registration.
Yeah, and again, we really want you to do this well in advance of any opportunity that you're really interested in, because waiting until the last minute, or even until, LA 20, if you're waiting for the Olympics, waiting for them to actually post opportunities is probably too late, because there's a lot of things you as a business need to get in order before you're ready to start bidding, especially obviously if you're in your earlier stages. So this is a space you definitely want to get familiar with. I think Liz put up there the fact that you can contact, the actual buyers. So when you have questions about the RFP or the solicitation itself, you are put in contact with that department's representative right there on Ramp. So you can reach out to them and ask questions about the RFP itself, or maybe about past RFPs, or even future if you're wondering when that might come open again. So again, it really is a tool to familiarize yourself with this space if you think it's a space you want to enter. So use it as a tool to grow yourselves, inform yourselves, connect with one another. It's important that you start building those relationships with those prime contractors now. They often don't typically bring on a sub cold. They want some kind of relationship or rapport built before they enter into a contract or will work with you. So this is where you get some visibility and insight into who those primes are. And you can certainly then reach out to them if you haven't already, and start to build those necessary relationships.
Shannon, we do have another question. It says, for background checks, they often require experience within the organization. How do we get experience if experience is needed? We have over 20 years experience. just not with the police department. And I would say that usually the experience is going to be relating to a particular opportunity that you're seeking. So once you're registered and you receive notification of an opportunity, you'll want to see the kind of experience that they're asking for. Certainly if it applies, you can certainly indicate that when applying for particular opportunities. But there aren't we don't do background checks. We do reference checks if certain opportunities require that, but not all will. I don't know if you want to add anything else to that, Shannon.
Yeah, but that's also what you want to include in your profile. You know, how many years experience you have, who have you done business with? Because again, not only are we looking at that information, but Cedars-Sinai might be looking for that information as well. So take the time to build out a pretty thorough profile, because that is where, the regional partners, where the prime contractors are going to spend time doing a little bit of research on your business. So it is worth the time to spend there.
Okay,
How do you get
says,
certification?
yeah.
Yeah, so you'll apply for it. It depends what kind of certification you're applying for. You can see the types of certifications that the city offers. Again, we might want to include that past webinar team on at least the link to that on this, if we're able, or include it in when we send out this video, because there are a number of questions around certification, and we go a little deeper into certification in that webinar. But that is also what we include in RAMP is, just the general information of what would most relate to businesses that are interested in procuring with the city of LA. But there's so many opportunities. Again, there's no risk to getting on RAMP. So I think half of you that aren't yet registered, you should register by the end of today, because it's just yet another resource for you to tap into. And again, it's free. There's no risk. You can get as many or as little, notifications about opportunities. But again, it's beyond that. It's about the outreach events, the events that other agencies are holding that you might be even more interested in than the actual opportunities that the city is posting. But there really is something for most every business. But for things that we might not purchase, it doesn't mean that our regional partners don't purchase that. So again, that's why you would want to be sure to register.
And I just want to point out in the chat that in terms of the question of how to get certified, again, we have the city has a Bureau of Contract Administration that administers the city's certification programs. And so in the chat, please look at the link that's been provided there for your information. And also we did do a few months ago a special webinar on certifications specifically. And if you check the chat again, there's a link to the YouTube video for that past certifications webinar if you're interested in learning more about the certification process.
And Arlene, I think you're saying that the opportunities page is a bit overwhelming. Well, that's where you would want to use the filters that you would see on that page. So you would want to narrow them down specific to maybe a department or an industry, do some keywords. You would want to definitely play with that page to see what kind of end search results you could get. So you drill down into things that you would maybe be most interested in. But that search page, that general opportunities page, is kind of just to give you a sense of what has been posted most recently and by which agencies. It also includes LAUSD. LAUSD is posting all of their opportunities here as well. So it really gives you a sampling of kind of what's out there, but you can definitely drill down throughout the filters to get to what might be more of interest to you. And then
Yeah, to add to that, just use the search bar at the top once you're there, and then enter the type of opportunity you're looking for, and hopefully that comes up.
But again, feel free to unmute yourself. We have time. If anyone wants to share some experience or tricks of the trade that they used in navigating the platform, feel free. James, go ahead.
Hi, Shannon, and thank you for this very informative information. I've actually been on the RAMP system, I think since I was introduced to it, I believe it was 2018. I've went after a couple of opportunities, but we started going in somewhat of a different direction. But I wanted to know, is it possible to get your email? I just sent you a direct message because I didn't want to say everything, but love to invite you to our small business network that we have and that we do on a monthly basis called Contract Connection Lunch and Learn, where we invite the city, the county. We've had American Honda, and just introduce businesses to the space because it's so key and very important for the growth of a small business. And this is what we're promoting and pushing. And so there are some major things that are happening, and I'd love to just share with you and our CEO offline or in another type of environment to get more details.
Sure. Yeah, we'd love to attend your events or, again, be sure to send our invites to any of your groups.
And we do.
Yeah, make sure you do that. But yeah, we are happy to speak to your groups about RAMP, about contracting with the city in general. So yeah, you can also reach out to me via these addresses as well. They just forward them directly to my inbox. So yeah, we'll definitely connect. Happy to. Yeah. And James, has at least, even though you haven't gotten a contract yet, how has it been in I don't know, just the overall understanding or learning of kind of how to navigate and
Well,
what the resources are?
What we do is because it can for a lot of businesses, it's extremely overwhelming, right? So we won last year, we won 2 major contracts. We're doing one with the Port of Long Beach right now. And it's the education outreach, right? We have a team, and then we won a $7.5 million contract with the Department of Navy. So that was a blanket purchase agreement. So there are so many aspects to it, not just going after the contract, right? Making sure that you have the capacity, and that's the name of my wife's new book called Capacity, to make sure that you are able to handle the contract itself. Maybe think about subbing, reading through, making sure you have the right insurances. So all of that we've experienced and are continually to go through. Even putting the proposal together, that Navy contract they wanted 30 pages, and we have 17 other professionals that are partnering with us, and they wanted to give us their full resume. And no, they wanted a paragraph on who was going to be working with you. Right. So it can be complicated in that space.
Right. And that it really is about managing expectations, because again, this is focused on registering, but we do understand that there's kind of that, okay, I'm registered, now what? So we are going to be working on that webinar series. We're hoping to introduce a whole new series come September. So you'll all be informed of those as well, because really registering is just the very first step. There's so many other aspects to actually winning or being awarded a contract. To James's point, it really is about becoming very familiar with this space, understanding how to respond. We do have different resources, both internal and external, to help you with those things. So again, RAMP does advertise those as well. So it is a huge investment and a huge learning process, but hopefully in the end, it ends up being well worth your time. Who was next? I think someone put a hand up. Go ahead.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for the information. Much appreciated. Just a quick question. The BTRC number, is that my procurement from California?
No, that is technically what it stands for is a business tax registration certificate. You can get that from our Office of Finance, and that is required for anyone doing business with the city or in the city. So it's very easy to get that if you don't already have one. But yes, that is found on our Office of Finance's website.
So I could add that later, right? It seems like I can add it
Yes.
later.
Yes, you can. And to that point, again, it's really getting your ducks in a row, knowing what you have to get together in order to be ready to do that contracting. So do exactly what is being asked, and make sure those forms that you can do in advance are done, or at least that you're aware of them.
And we've lifted a link to the Office of Finance for your convenience in the chat. So please look that up.
Go ahead, Arlene.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks. I have a recording studio. We do a lot of ADR work, commercial work. I'm kind of interested really in the Olympics and seeing if there's some opportunities there. But I'm wondering, is this a format that I could use? I've looked up the Olympics and nothing comes up under opportunities. So I'm just wondering if
Not yet.
Yeah. Oh, not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, not yet. We are well in advance of the Olympics by all means, but they are already just starting to post what they would probably be most interested in the coming months. But an actual solicitation has not been posted by them yet. But that is, again, back to our point about being familiar with this space, because they are coming. So you would, want to have your profile built out, again, be familiar with how to navigate it. They'll be hopefully posting more information on the things that they'll be looking for their vendors to have, maybe in terms of certifications or experience, but that hasn't happened yet. So again, just there's no risk at registering now and being aware of those requirements when they come out.
Mhm.
Anyone else? We got a few more minutes.
Yes, I have a question. When you guys talk about the work history, how much detail are you guys expecting there? Because, for example, are we just supposed to list the companies that we work with? I mean, it just doesn't have a lot of space, and I'm not sure how much we need to dive into that section, or how, kind of like what the expectation is.
You mean in the profile on RAMP?
Yes.
And team, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that there is a limit. Did it say that there was a limit to the characters?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
summary section of
okay.
the opportunity, it only has a maximum of about 200 characters, so you'll need to be concise. I think what we want you to do there is just really highlight some key points about your business experience. So maybe you want to, draft that up ahead of time and so that it captures your experience in a concise manner, and then add that to that particular section.
Right. Thanks.
I noticed there was another comment, James. I don't know if you're asking for the support. It says, do you help businesses connect to local free business support? Was that a question you had, or was that something you were offering?
Yes, no, that was a question, because oftentimes the city has a lot of people don't know about like the work source centers. If you're trying to hire
Right.
people,
And the business
Uh,
source centers.
yeah,
Yeah,
the business source and the work source center, they work together.
right.
So I always recommend people, depending on where they are, to go to those free resources as opposed to paying, because you got people that will charge thousands of dollars for the certification process. If you take your time, you can do it free. But yeah, so I just wanted to know if you maybe put that in the chat, or
There it is.
if you guys are allowed to, I don't know.
We just put it in the chat. The team just put it up there in the chat. But yes, that is a great recommendation. We are putting together a list of resources. If not, it might already be out. But yes, both paid and free. We don't know what stage your business is at. We don't know what your business needs are. So we offer, different free events that the city puts on. There's different events that the chambers put on there's events by business organizations. So again, that's also what RAMP houses. So if that's all you're signing up to do on RAMP is just get at least notified of those outreach events, then maybe that's the stage you're at. But yes, to James's point, is there's an array of different resources. There's a lot of focus, and really more than I've ever personally seen before in my history with the city, of just the desire to really reach small businesses and educate them in this space. So there's a lot out there to take advantage of. You do have to take the time to search for it, but we're going to do our best to centralize as much of it as possible. But again, a lot of it is fed through RAMP as well. Anyone else? We have 10 minutes. Or we can give it back to you, your choice.
Any plans to do any in-person meetings?
Events. We already are back to some of our in-person events. We have our Bureau of Contract Administration who holds events. They're called Accessing LA. And they all have different topics. Some are more construction related, some are more matchmaking related. And their last event was actually in person. And we, I think, would be open to doing something in person. It's just, we find that because we're really reaching out to the small businesses, this is kind of the time that they have available versus traveling somewhere. But we did have the mayor's office just recently put on a small business summit, just maybe even over a month ago. So again, those events are listed on RAMP. So again, we've gotten to back to in-person events. These we hold virtually just because it's a wider reach.
Oh, but they're not.
Anyone else?
Yeah, one last question. It says, in registering with RAMP LA, can you go over in detail what we need to put in for work history and previous contracts? Again, because that particular space, if it's the one we're referring to in terms of the summary, it doesn't allow for a lot of in-depth detail, but it's, you want to be concise and just describing the kind of work you've done. So somebody asked about architect work or graphic. I do graphic design. I've worked for how many years? I've worked with, how many organizations, something like that, just so that folks get a sense of, the depth and breadth of your experience, and I think, again, that would sort of capture, give folks an idea of your work history. Jen,
right, because that is not the section that's qualifying you officially for any of these solicitations. It's just a space that's advertising you and what experience you've had. So use up the characters however you see fit. however succinct you can get in conveying who you've worked with, what you've done, what you're experienced in, then, you know, that's for you to determine, you know, how you want to best use those characters. But again, it's not built out with the intention that that is the section that actually qualifies you for anything. It's just more of a marketing space for you to communicate with others what you do. Oh yeah, Contract Ready LA has an event August 5th. Yeah, we can't even keep, but I think that also came out through Ramp as well. So there's another event that you all want to make your way to as well.
Yeah, and to Shannon's point, I think the distinction between what you write on Ramp and when you're applying for an actual opportunity, the opportunity will be specific in asking for the type of experience and the number of years experience when you're actually applying for any opportunity that you're interested in. So that's the difference between what you put on your profile and what you use to describe your experience when responding to an opportunity. So that's just a little distinction. I think that's all we have in the chat for questions at this moment, Shannon. So, let's see.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Shauna. But yes, this is not over. We're going to have more webinars, so attend those. Keep up to date on what we are offering, but use those email addresses to reach out to us with any questions or challenges that you might be having with the website or any other questions. But again, you do have access to the buyer's information if you have questions specific to those solicitations. So again, it's a tool for you to use to be ready for all that's coming our way. So we really encourage you to register and look forward to seeing you again. How do you become an authorized reseller? Actually, I don't know about that. That's more on the setting up your business. And I don't know if Office of Finance would have that information, or even our business, our work. I don't know, team, would the business source
Business
centers
source
have?
centers,
Yeah,
that would be a question for business source centers, probably.
yeah. So yeah, we hope to see you all again and really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today. So see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. You may stop the recording.